Welcome to Empower Her Radio, the space for powerhouse women ready to step into their next level of abundance, purpose, and personal freedom. I'm Dr. Corey Winn, a high performance coach, doctor of physical therapy, philanthropist, and business consultant. I help ambitious women align with their highest calling, expand their wealth and impact, and create a life that feels as good as it looks. If you're a high achieving woman who's built success yet finds yourself craving more alignment, more purpose, more ease, you're in the right place. Here, we bridge the gap between ambition and fulfillment. Through transformative conversations and proven strategies, you'll gain the courage to step into the fullest expression of you. Build a powerhouse business that aligns with your expertise and divine gifts, and lead your life, both personally and professionally, with unshakable confidence, worthiness, and compassion. This is about expansion, legacy, and owning your power unapologetically. You already have everything inside of you to create a life of unlimited possibility. It's time to unlock it. Welcome to your next level. Let's dive in. I am so excited to have Dr. Aumatma Simmons back on the show today. In case you missed our first interview, you can head back and listen to all the things women in fertility. Dr. Simmons is an award-winning naturopathic doctor, board certified in endocrinology, two-time best-selling author, and host of Egg Meets Sperm podcast. She's the founder of Madre Fertility, where she helps women uncover the hidden blocks to their fertility and create customized roadmaps for their reproductive health. Welcome back to the show.
Good to be here, Corey. Thanks for having me.
So we were just chatting before I started the recording. You posted a reel within the last week that said, in 20 years, most men could be shooting blanks. Can you unpack this? I was like, what? We always talk about female fertility. What about male?
Yeah, male fertility is on the decline. We know that it's been on a decline for, gosh, at least the last 70 years or so.
Oh, wow.
And what's cool about male fertility is that we can track the numbers, right? It's like such a tangible way to understand fertility. Female fertility is super complicated. It's so
Uh-huh.
complex.
Uh-huh.
But male fertility is really simple. There's three factors that we track: count, motility, and morphology. And what we have noted for the last 70 years, motility and morphology are technically new variables. So
Okay.
they don't have them from back in the 1970s or whenever they started tracking.
Mm-hmm.
But we have counts. And what we've noticed is that what we considered normal for that time period, which was about 120 million, that was the low bar. 120 million sperm per ejaculate
Oh,
in a
wow.
man. Now, what's considered normal is 40 million. And what we see is that most men don't even hit that bare minimum, right? Like above and beyond that would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But even the bare minimum is not being hit by most men. So what is happening? And what the graphs are showing is that the rate of decline of this count is so close. And it's like in the last 10 years or so, it's like started a steep drop instead of this like slow, steady decline that we were observing.
Mm-hmm.
So male fertility is like about to just disappear. And yeah, it's kind of scary. It's kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
When
It's a little
I
bit
thought 20
Handmaid's
years, oh my
Tale.
gosh.
Yes. Yeah, and that honestly that statistic was is actually 5 years old already. So we've got 15 years.
Wow.
And of course, like statistics are not reality, right? Like there's a whole bunch of stuff that we can say about it. And I've had these conversations on platforms where people are commenting and they're going to comment back like, oh, this is bullshit. Like, stop with the fear mongering because blah, blah, blah. It's just a statistic. And
Uh-huh.
it's like, well, yes, but if we ignore the statisticians, we miss like this major thing that's happening in our lifetime, in our children's lifetime, right? I have a son.
Right.
I want
Right.
him to be able to have children so that I can have grandchildren.
Right.
So this is very relevant, and it's a wake-up call. It's not like we can't turn this around. This is a dead end, like humanity's just going to stop existing.
Right.
But we're teetering towards that like reality of Handmaid's Tale, which was like, such an old book, but there's some truth to it. And
Right.
yeah.
Well, and I mean, you and I both obviously are more from the preventative side of things than, okay, now it's already happened. What do we do? So, fertility is so often seen as a woman's issue. How is this information being presented? I mean, I had no idea, so I'm assuming that the greater population is unaware as well. So, how many people know about this?
Not a lot. And what's sad to me is that even fertility doctors are not paying attention,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you go into a conventional fertility clinic where they do IVF, IUIs, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What most men get, the message that most men are getting is your sperm are perfect. It's her age, it's her egg quality.
Mm-hmm.
You're not the problem, right? And
Right.
that's what they're hearing. And I just had a call with one of my patients who he's 53. He's a functional medicine doctor. So like really well educated, really like kind of already at the cutting edge of all of
Right.
the medicine stuff. And his wife is 41 and she has
Hey, that's my husband and I. That we've got 11 years between us. 11.5. Anyway, sorry. Tangent.
yeah, so she's like, I had a chat with her last week and she's like, well, he's pretty much not doing anything because every time we go to the fertility clinic, they're like, well, it's not him. It's because of your age. It's like, well, but he's 11 years older than you. So technically it's because of his age that we're having
Uh-huh.
this problem.
Uh-huh.
But it's like his sperm are, the count is amazing, right?
Mhm.
So let's give him that. But his motility and morphology are abominable. Like, what is happening? What are you
Mhm.
doing? What's happening
Mhm.
to these sperm and why are they
Yeah.
disappearing? So it was, it's kind of like telling to me that in terms of like how can we change anything if the doctors that are at the cutting edge of this fertility medicine are ignoring the fact that male fertility is at least a 50% factor, if
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
all of it. Right? So, yeah, so I feel like not a lot of people are doing anything about it, and hence we see again and again guys are like checked out of the fertility equation because they're told they're fine, they're not the problem.
Mhm.
Um, but in his case, he's absolutely the problem. His motility is 17% and morphology was at some point 5%. Currently, it's undetectable, which is not a good sign. It's
Yeah.
like, wait, you can't even pick it up. That's a problem.
Yeah.
And yet he's told, no, 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 it's not your sperm. It's all good. So then he's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, I don't need to do anything because the doctor keeps saying my sperm are fine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you just have to look at it differently. Like, yes, in the IVF world, they're okay.
Mhm.
They can pick out a good sperm and say, hey, mate with this egg and fertilize it and voila.
Yeah.
But in the real world, if you're not doing IVF, you need not only tons of sperm, but extremely high quality sperm so they can actually fertilize the egg in a natural environment where
Right.
they're not using technology to like fertilize.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are you finding is affecting all of this?
I think the environment is honestly a really big piece.
Mhm.
It is kind of annoying to keep saying it,
Uh-huh.
like Yeah, it's the environment. But the reality is like plastics are everywhere. There was a recent study that came out that showed that it was some part like some meat. I don't remember which meat it was that they found like 20% or 20 times the amount of plastic that they would expect to find in a cut of meat in in this food that we are now consuming.
Hmm.
So it it kind of leads to what are like we really need a wake up call in terms of the amount of toxins because there's a direct correlation. We know that plastic in all of its forms, I don't care what BPA, BPS, BPF, like you
Uh-huh.
name it, all of it
Yeah.
is going to have a negative effect on sperm. We know that through many, many, many studies. This is not like new information by any means, but the plastic is being found in meat.
Hmm.
So, like, what are we doing about it? We're making the problem worse because now, like, I think it was Costco meat. So you have this meat that was grown, but then they like wrapped it in plastic and like sealed it closed. So now it's in this like cooking environment. Basically, it's
Uh-huh.
being heated in this plastic, and the meat is like absorbing the plastic. So
Hmm.
now you have 20 times the amount of exposure that you would normally have. And that's just in one serving. So
I'm
you eat
literally
this
just
like,
thinking about we had organic grass-fed steak last night.
yeah.
Ideally, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Packaged in plastic. So they're
Mm-hmm.
thinking,
Yeah.
hmm, what does that really mean? How healthy is
Right.
that?
Yeah, like we're paying extra for this steak or whatever to be grass-fed, to be organic, to be hormone-free,
Right,
yet it's being wrapped in plastic.
right.
So it's not super helpful.
Well, and
If
just to pause for just 1 second, got some blood work years ago and it showed that I had high levels of plastics. And I
Mhm.
went to my doctor and she said, well, everybody does. And I was like, plastic should not be in my bloodstream. That's not
Yeah.
part of any
Yeah.
nutrient that should be
Yeah.
there. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, it's true. Like we all have it because it's so prevalent.
Hmm.
It's coming from receipts. It
Yeah.
like just touching a receipt is allowing this substance. I think what's in receipts is BPA. So that rubs against the surface of your skin. Your skin absorbs all of these things and then it stores it. So that's we're just talking about one toxin, right? There
Right.
are like
Right.
on average, a newborn child is born with 340 different toxins floating in its bloodstream at birth.
Mhm.
So it's like, okay, so that one thing affected the sperm. Now we have phthalates. That's going to be in literally everything that is fragranced. And for men, I've noticed they love their cars and they love to have their cars smell good. So
Hmm.
there's always those like car, like the car fragrance things, or
Uh-huh.
they're blowing some stuff into it. And then like they want to clean their car. So it's like all the chemicals to clean the car. Literally, all of it is exposure to
Hmm.
chemicals and toxins that are then negatively affecting their sperm.
Hmm.
So we get into like, we can break down so many different toxins, but in general, like we're just inundated. And it takes kind of a really good mindful detox to be able to go through and find all of the places that your chemicals and toxins are coming in for you.
Hmm.
Um, Another place that I talk about a lot is the PFAs, and those are often in all of the non-stick coated pots and pans that we're
Uh-huh.
using in our kitchens. And it's like my husband and I had this fight when we got together because he's like, "What do you mean? How do you cook without nonstick?" And I was like, "You'll get used to it. We're gonna be okay." And he would literally just like, "But this would taste so much better if we cooked it in nonstick." And I was like, "Yeah, it probably would. And you'll get the perfect texture. But guess what? You've added like 8 layers of toxins onto your food.
Mm-hmm.
Pass."
Uh-huh.
So he had a kind of a big curve to like just be able to get on board with not cooking with that stuff. So that's another big one. And then health and beauty products. And men are not using health and beauty as much, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
but they're getting it from the soaps, the shampoo, the conditioner, so when you ask a guy like, well, what health and beauty aids are you using? And he's like, what? I don't use anything. But like, it's not going through his mind because it's not a specific thing that he thinks about.
Right.
But he's picking up a bar of soap wherever, oh, it smells
Uh-huh.
good. And
I was just gonna say,
it's
my
just
husband
being
uses the like
exposure.
Dove men hair, body, face, all the things.
Yes. Yeah.
Like all
Yeah.
in one.
Yeah. And like companies are getting smart, right? So they're gonna I've bought into it a few times. Or my husband, who I've been training for so many years, he'll like read the labels, but he's like, look, it says phthalate free, fragrance free,
Uh-huh.
BPA free. I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't mean it's non-toxic.
Yeah.
And he's like, but it says non-toxic right here. And I'm like, yes, let's flip it over. Let's see what's in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not toxin free. So what we don't understand is that a lot of the chemicals that are used in health health and body care products are going to be able to skate by with claiming that it's toxin free or claiming that it's
Right.
clean or phthalate free or whatever because they like sneak it in other ways. And all of it doesn't even have to show up on your label. So
Mhm.
if they label it, great. But if they don't, then what? Like it's just in there.
Yeah.
So I think men are getting exposed just as much as women, I think. And we have a lot of data about how things affect male fertility because it's easy to measure.
Right.
So we have so much feedback about, oh, this chemical or the, let's say mercury or fluoride that was in your water supply is going to impact the sperm counts. There's data about it.
Mhm.
So I think that those environmental factors are a big one. And
Okay.
then I think the last factor that we don't think about as often, but I think men are getting exposed more than women, are the technology devices. So phones in pockets, especially on the front side, are going to have a bigger impact on the testes, which are hanging out right next to that phone.
Mm-hmm.
And there is some research around EMFs and how they affect sperm health. So that information is sort of new, but even if it's as simple as this device is giving off heat,
Mm-hmm.
right? So let's forget the EMFs, which can feel somewhat woo-woo sometimes.
Right.
But even if we think about the heat that is coming off of these devices, or you have a laptop that's sitting on your lap, that heat is enough to mutate and affect the sperm negatively. And the reason the testicles are hanging outside of the body is so that they can stay cool.
Right.
So we're literally like hitting the sperm and the testes, it, doing exactly the opposite of what the physio the physical design of our bodies was meant to do,
Right.
right?
Right.
So yeah, so I think those are the big ones. And then stress has a huge impact, sleep has a huge impact. So all of the lifestyle factors are going to have an effect on fertility.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest ones are these like sneaky environmental chemicals that no one's talking about, especially for men. I think
Mhm.
that it's a huge factor, and we really need to uh, kind of like guide our partners sometimes
Mhm.
in like, hey, don't buy that anymore, or and like my husband and I constantly having that conversation because he's literally like he loves things that smell good, that make him smell good. Um, and eh, yet so much of it is chemicals. And I'm like, I smell you. You smell really good, but that's probably not a good thing, right? Like, what did you add that is this new product? And he's like, oh, I just bought this new soap. And I'm like, oh my God, please stop.
Oh, that's so
Um,
funny.
so yeah,
Well, and you talk about all of these toxins, and in the one hand, it's like, okay, now I'm scared. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to have any more children, but
mhm.
for humanity as a whole, I'm sure a lot of our audience is going, "Oh my gosh, well, now what do I do?" Is there anything that we can do to rid our body of these toxins that are already here?
Well, the fastest, like, yes, there are detoxes that we can do that are specifically designed around these specific chemicals to get out of the body. So there's definitely a way that we can speed up the detox process. We can support our liver. So, like, easy things to do would be to eat things that have artichokes or artichokes themselves.
Mhm.
They're really supportive of the liver function. There are dandelion root tea,
Mhm.
right?
Love dandelion root
Burdock
tea.
root tea,
Hmm.
putting burdock root into our food. Those are all like really gentle ways to just support, make sure the liver has what it needs to continue kind of supporting that detox function. Because
Hmm.
our bodies are designed to be able to get rid of stuff, right? So I
Right,
don't want to give the impression of like, no, that's it, you're screwed.
right,
But to a certain extent, we just have to be mindful because if you're exposing 30, but you're detoxing at like a 1%, you're like your that gap is too big for your body to catch up. So those toxins are going to go and store somewhere in our
right,
bodies. And
right.
often chemicals, toxins are stored in fat.
Hmm.
So if you start gaining fat, right? Like you're gaining weight, often that's your body like trying to sequester these chemicals that it shouldn't have and put them away somewhere. It's
Right.
like a protective mechanism to
Hmm.
allow you to still continue functioning.
Right.
So often, like getting rid of the exposure, going from 30 to 5, is going to help support how much your body has to deal with.
Hmm.
And then you increase the capacity of the liver. One of my favorite ways that you might also be using is castor oil packs.
Oh,
So
no, I
this
don't.
is and we can put a link in the show notes for people to know what it is and like where to get it and stuff like that. But basically it's this like flannel cloth that you soak in castor oil. Ideally, that castor oil is organic and cold pressed and in a glass bottle, right? Like
Right,
common sense,
right.
but I'm gonna say it anyway.
Yeah, but I
Um,
mean, it's true.
and then you just put like usually like a tablespoon or two, and then you lay that over your liver, and then you just go to bed.
Okay.
And so when I learned this, it was literally a flannel cloth, and then you would like, this sounds now in retrospect, this sounds very bad. But we would basically put saran wrap over it to hold it in place because it's so messy. And like, what do you do? So then you're exposing yourself to the saran wrap, which,
Uh-huh.
like obviously not a smart thing to do. But luckily now there are lots of castor oil packs that have Velcro or they tie or whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
there's like easy ways to make this doable where you could do it every night, couple nights a week to just support your liver to make sure that it's detoxing as well as it can.
Okay.
And it doesn't feel like anything. I usually feel like I get better sleep on the nights that I remember to do the castor oil pack. So I'm like, oh, I slept great. I feel more refreshed. And I supported my liver in detoxing extra
Mm-hmm.
garbage. So
Yeah.
that's a really easy thing to do that we can integrate just as a lifestyle thing
Yeah.
to make sure that we're getting rid of the all the garbage that we're putting
Yeah.
in.
Well, and
And
I
then
think, oh,
mhm.
sorry, go ahead.
No, 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 go ahead.
You had mentioned, cookware and whatnot, and I'd heard that getting rid of nonstick a while ago. But then the ceramic nonstick came out that's considered
Hmm.
non-toxic. Is that
Hmm.
true? Is it better? Is it the same? Is it, what from a scientific standpoint, where does all that stand? What do you recommend for cookware?
Uh, So there are different levels of cookware,
Yeah.
depending on how much you're willing to invest.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I first started thinking about all of this, I went to the extreme and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get the medical grade titanium, which is like the most solid level of cookware you can have. It's nonstick naturally,
Okay.
and it will not leach anything into your food at all, like zero leach. And you can um the the salespeople for this like here compare this thing that was cooked in cast iron or something, which is also relatively toxin free. um Compare that flavor to something cooked in medical grade titanium, it's like drastically different.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one option.
Uh-huh.
The lesser expensive options are things like stainless steel, and it has to be a specific type of stainless steel. It needs to say 20-10, which is like it's a stainless steel that won't actually leach most of the
Uh-huh.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if it's like a 10-8 or something, it will leach. It's like a softer metal, from what I
Okay.
understand. I don't know the
Okay.
technicalities. So you want to look for the right stainless steel.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have things like cast iron, which do leach iron, which is, like mildly beneficial for some people. Um, and it has a really interesting way of cooking. People get nervous around cast iron because, oh, I don't know how to take care of it, and what do I need to do, and they kind of get it in their heads about it. Um, and then there is the new ceramic stuff, which um, there is what is it called? Like the everything pan or something. It that one. So there is a resource that I will share. And this blog kind of does the best job, I think, at keeping current and like reviewing stuff as it's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
It's wellnessmama.com.
Okay.
I'm not affiliated in any way,
Uh-huh.
but it is my resource. So I will often go and plug things in there and see if Wellness Mama has anything to say about this specific product that
Yeah.
I'm considering.
Uh-huh.
So, so I think I saw that pan on her website as like relatively safe, but the way that I've learned to think about things is like new things come out all the time that are like, oh, this is latest and greatest and it's clean and this and that. And then 10 years down the line, they're like, oops, yeah, sorry, we didn't tell you about that chemical because we didn't think it was relevant.
Right.
And so it makes it a little bit hard. And I feel like I'm at that point in my life where I've been around long enough that I'm like, let's give that 5 or 10 years and
Yeah,
then see
uh-huh.
if it's still safe.
Yeah. Let's
Um,
see.
so yeah, that's my personal philosophy on stuff. I tend not to bring things into the house that don't have the track record of like, hey, this has been studied for a very long time
Mm-hmm.
and like nothing has changed in the production process and we know that it's safe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm also like super obsessive and
Mhm.
and
But it
take less
matters. I
risks.
mean, just even after our first interview, I went through my house and got rid of so many other things that, had kind of crept back in over the years. Or I have a Great Pyrenees mix dog, and getting the dog hair out of the laundry is like an everyday
Oh
feat.
my God.
But you know, I don't quite know how to ask this because I just sit here and think about how incredibly educated you are and how the scientific community really works for these things. Are you seeing any trends with patients
Ye-
who just maybe aren't as aware of what's going
mm,
on or don't
yeah.
have that knowledge and education? Is it disproportionately affecting certain people?
That's an interesting question. Um, I think it's person dependent to a certain extent. But what I love is how many people I see that are like, we've already been doing all of these things for like 5 years. Now what?
Right.
Right. So they're like, I think people are waking up more than we understand or realize. And there are entire movements towards clean living.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. Like, I
Yes.
love not having to go through people's homes and be like, oh, you got to get rid of this and this and this and this, which 10 years ago was not a thing,
Right.
right? Like, almost everyone 10 years ago was like, you want us to do what?
Uh-huh.
Like, get rid of our nonstick pans?
Uh-huh.
How will we survive?
Right.
Now it's like, oh, yeah, we already got rid of that.
Well, and there's
We're
something to
not
be
into
said
that.
of like that having the recognition of I've been doing the same thing and it's still not working. I need to be open to trying something else.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think so there's a degree of like the bar has raised
Mm-hmm.
through at least the people that I come in contact with, which
Uh-huh.
is like I have to always acknowledge like it's a small subsect of people that would even
Right.
want to talk to me.
Right.
So, but the bar is raised for the people that we're working with,
Mm-hmm.
for most of them. For the ones that have not got on board yet, we love it because we're like, oh my God, you're gonna feel so much better from
Yeah.
just doing the bare minimum, right?
Yeah.
Like life is gonna be so different from just doing these five things.
Mm-hmm.
So I got very excited about that. There is a free resource that I have just reworked with like a whole bunch of links and stuff to make it easy for people to know like what do I recommend and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So happy to share that link with your audience as
I would
well.
love that. Yeah.
Um, and that book is based, or it's like a booklet. It's basically like the guide to cleaning up your home in
Uh-huh.
a more effective, efficient way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, so that's a trend. I think that the other piece of this, like, is it more common in certain populations? I think
Mm-hmm.
that there is this, like, kind of the population that is struggling to even survive, like their day-to-day needs are a
Right.
struggle.
Right.
Um, they of course are being exposed to more environmentally because they live in areas that are more polluted in general.
Right.
So
Right.
that's the first part. Then they're
Yeah.
eating crappier food. So
Mm-hmm.
that's another thing. And
Right.
then on top of that, they have so much more stress. So
Mm-hmm.
there are so many people that are in that boat that are struggling. So it's I don't want to make it sound like, hey, this is accessible and everyone should do it. And
Mm-hmm.
technically, I think like my husband points this out all the time because I'll like go to him and be like, "Oh, I just bought this new makeup and it was so expensive." And he's like, "How much did you spend?" And I'm like, $40. And he's like, "What? Like you have never shopped at super expensive high-end mall stores that sell makeup, apparently." And I was like, "Yeah, no, I've never done that." And he's like, $40 is not a lot for makeup. right?
Well, and
So
you pose such a great point because all of this is about access too. Having the ability to go out and buy organic food, having the ability to totally change how you clean your house or live in a place that's not like super populated, like, I don't know, Brooklyn or somewhere that you can't
Mhm.
necessarily control what's coming into your environment, even if your space is super clean.
Yeah. Yeah, get this. We found, so this is a little bit of a sidetrack, but we found that i- areas that are exposed to high pollution, which are not actually what we would think of as pollution, these are people in the Central Valley in California
Okay.
that are exposed to a lot of like farm environment. So
Mm-hmm.
they're being exposed to really extreme chemicals that are being
Mm-hmm.
sprayed on all of this food. They have a harder time controlling their blood sugar levels.
Oh, wow.
And so we found this out randomly because one of our clients has a monitor and he is like messaging and he's like, "Oh, we left the valley for a weekend and all of a sudden my blood sugars were better."
Oh,
And we were
wow.
like, "What? That's so weird." So we started researching to see if there was any connection. And sure enough, there is a link between blood sugar levels and the air that you're breathing in.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, wow, what? Like, so then you wonder why certain populations around the country or even the world have high rates of blood sugar and diabetes. It's like, well, they're being exposed to more. Like
Well, you
India,
think
for
about
example.
I grew up in North Carolina, but I lived in South Carolina for a while, and South Carolina is in right in the middle of the diabetes belt, and it's considered the diabetes buckle. It's like the worst in
Wow.
the whole country, and it
Wow.
is so much farmland, hog farming,
Oh,
turkey farms, I mean,
interesting.
tobacco and cotton still.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
And those are all plants. Those are all farming. Farming practices in all of those industries are extremely toxic.
mhm.
So, yeah,
Wow.
like I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I want to be super respectful of your time, but I have like one more question.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about products and whatnot for women and clothing. What about
Mm.
for men? You know, where should they be looking for their soaps and their shampoos and things? And then, you know, I mean, cotton underwear. Like
Yeah.
what are your recommendations?
Yes. Oh, thank you for asking that because we did talk about it for women, but men are also being exposed to polyester plastic underwear, and
Hmm.
it's just as bad for the men. It's especially bad if that underwear is also tight
Hmm.
underwear, so you're better off in boxers than briefs, right? Like let the testicles breathe,
Hmm.
get all the airflow, and then like making sure that it's cotton. And this has been our internal conversation with my husband and I for a little while. Every time we go shopping, we're looking at labels to see how many clothes we can find that are cotton.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, no, Zara is amazing because it has all of this cotton clothing. So sure enough, we like walk through Zara, and in the men's section, most of it was 100% cotton. You walk next door to the women's section, and almost all of it is polyester.
Oh, wow.
It's the same brand. So what is
Yeah.
happening?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, this is impossible. You can't find women's clothes that don't have polyester.
Hmm.
But cotton for men is actually a lot easier. You can find 100% cotton t-shirts. You can buy a pack of them for like $10, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
go to Walmart and get yourself Hanes, whatever,
Hmm.
cotton t-shirts.
Hmm.
So you can like if the goal is health and it doesn't need to be crazy expensive, you can do and get away with a lot. On the men's side, it should be really, really easy. It's
Uh-huh.
easy to buy 100% cotton boxers, briefs, and t-shirts. Those
Okay.
are the bare minimum. And then
Okay.
jeans are good, or cotton lay pants or whatever. Yeah, like all of those things are available.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're easier for men than women.
Okay.
It just takes enough of a like wherewithal or your observation to be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, this is cotton, this isn't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just look at your labels and buy stuff that's 100% cotton.
Yeah. And what about like soaps and things? Where are you guys
Uh,
finding those?
Soaps are there are a couple of brands that are always clean. Dr. Bronner's is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Hands
Mm-hmm.
down, can always trust that it's clean.
Okay.
Um, and Dr. Bronner's tends to work pretty well with most men.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an easy one. Shampoos, that technically you can use Dr. Bronner's as a shampoo also. I
Uh-huh.
have not done that. But I have a list on the resource that I was mentioning is
Okay.
it's basically like a detox guide.
Okay.
And that guide has links to all of the different products that you could be wanting. So like hairspray and gel and like literally everything. Because what I have also like more and more gotten into it, and the more I get into it, the more I'm like, oh my God, another product that was labeled all clean, and I receive it and it's like a load of crap.
Well,
So
and this is so funny because I thought of you the other day because I had spray dry shampoo. Number one,
uh-huh,
I knew it was kind of bad to begin with,
uh-huh.
but I sprayed it in my hair and I looked back and the sun is coming through my window and there's this haze in my bathroom. And I thought,
uh,
I'm now breathing all of that in and it's coating the floor where my dogs are
mm,
walking. And I was just
mm.
like, no. And it immediately went in the trash.
Yes, and dry shampoos should be easy to find clean,
Mhm.
actually. So they're usually powders. It's
Yes.
like I think they're using like baking powder or something. Like
Uh-huh.
that's the base of most of the clean ones.
Yes.
So you can totally do that one super clean. Um, there's some products that always like even the clean ones are still a little bit on the not so clean side.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But I feel like the goal isn't complete 100% toxin free. If you can get there, great.
Yeah.
But if you're like me, who maybe like, yeah, I still like hairspray sometimes,
Hmm.
and like just some products just that I have, I'm like, this is mostly clean. It's
Hmm.
probably not 100%, but I know I'm taking that chance with the mindset of like, if a cleaner version of this comes out, I'm gonna swap it out.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just something I keep an eye on. And
Yeah.
then there are, what was I gonna say about products? Nope, I lost my train of thought. There was, I had something else that I wanted to add about products in particular.
Well, if you think about it, we can definitely put it in the show notes. But like I said, I want to be respectful of your time. Is there anything that we haven't talked about or you haven't mentioned that you want to make sure that we know?
Um, no, I don't think so. I hope that this conversation just opens it up to like, this is a um family thing. And I know all of your audience isn't necessarily focused on having babies. So I wanted to add this piece. This is what I was trying to remember is every chemical that has affected fertility also increases cancer.
I was going to ask you
So
about that, but I wasn't sure we had time.
I just want to say that like if it's affecting your future children, if it's affecting your ability to get pregnant or stay pregnant, it's
Mhm.
also affecting whether or not your body's growing more cancer cells.
Right.
So like the research is kind of scary how much overlap there is.
Mhm.
So I'll just share that
I
with
so
the
appreciate that because it's just like that extra little push of like, oh, wait, okay, I'm out of childbearing years or I'm not going to have any more children, but this is so important because. So
Yeah, yeah,
thank you.
exactly.
Thank you. How can everybody get in touch with you? I want to make sure they can follow you if they didn't catch the first show.
Yeah, absolutely. The best place to find us is Instagram at Holistic Fertility Doctor.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming again. I so appreciate all of your resources, all of your knowledge, and I know that this show will help a lot of people.
Yeah, I love hanging out with you. Thanks,
I
Corey.
know. Yes. As we close out today's episode, I want to leave you with this. Your next level is already within you. If you're feeling that pull for more clarity, more alignment, and more courage to step fully into who you're meant to be, this is your invitation to take the next step. Whether you're an entrepreneur ready to scale or a woman standing at the edge of something bigger, the path forward starts with trusting your desires, owning your worth, and leading with your inner knowing. This is exactly what I offer: private VIP coaching, and where I guide women inside the 10K Club and 50K Club through consulting with She Sells and Superhuman Selling to help you gain clarity, step into aligned action, and build a life and business that reflects your highest vision. If you're ready to explore what's next, let's have a conversation. Book a free call now at www.corywinn.com/free call. I can't wait to connect with you. Talk soon.